I bought 200 acres of untouched land for $2,000, and less than 48 hours later, a woman in stilettos stood in front of me and claimed I owed her $15,000 for a homeowners association that didn't even exist. And the wildest part? For about 10 seconds, I almost believed her. Let me back up. 3 weeks before any of this happened, I was flat on my back beneath a busted freightliner in Billings, Montana. Oil was dripping down my forearm. My knuckles were split open, my lungs burning with diesel fumes. And I remember thinking, man, is this really my life now? My name's Caleb Monroe. I've been a diesel mechanic since I was 19. I grew up fixing things beside my dad. Learned young that when something breaks, you don't whine about it. You grab a wrench. 12 years later, I was still doing exactly that. Same grind, just heavier rigs, longer shifts, and a back that hurt a little more every year. Every single day smelled like WD-40 and regret. Then my phone rang. It was my aunt. She said, Caleb, Grandpa Ray passed last night. And then nothing, just silence, the kind that sits heavy in your chest. A week later, I found out he left me $50,000. Not a fortune, not retire tomorrow money, but enough to change course. Most guys I knew would have bought a new truck. Me, I wanted land, dirt, real dirt, not grease, not pavement, soil, something alive. Grandpa Ray used to say, land never lies to you, son. People do. So I started looking. Late nights at my kitchen table, laptop glowing, coffee going cold, scrolling through county auctions and government listings. And that's when I saw it. 200.6 acres. Raven Creek County, Nebraska. Agricultural parcel. Back taxes. Price. $2.31 something. Had to be a typo. It wasn't. Saturday morning, I drove 6 hours straight east. Windows down. Country music low. Gravel popping under my tires. When I got there, the land was perfect. Rolling hills. Rich black soil. Old fence posts from the 60s, still standing like tired soldiers. No houses. No paved roads. No developments. Just grass and sky. I stood there thinking, I could build something here. I could breathe here. Monday, the auction lasted 10 minutes. One other bidder dropped out early. I raised my hand once. Sold. $2,000. Done. I remember laughing in my truck afterward, thinking, there's no way life just handed me this. Yeah, turns out it didn't. Wednesday, I came back to walk the property. Took soil samples. Marked boundaries. Let my mind wander toward crops, greenhouses, and quiet mornings. That's when I heard it. Click, click, click. Not gravel. Not boots. Heels. I turned around and saw her walking across my field like she owned it. Blonde hair. Oversized sunglasses. Cream-colored blazer. Designer purse. High heels sinking into the dirt with every step, like nature itself had personally insulted her. She stopped about 3 feet from me. Didn't smile. Didn't introduce herself. Just said, "Are you the new owner of this parcel?" I nodded. "Yeah, I'm Caleb." She extended her hand like it was a courtesy I hadn't earned. Victoria Langford, president of the Silver Pines Estates Homeowners Association. I shook her hand slowly, scanning the horizon. One house. Hers. Half a mile away. A mansion perched on a hill. That was it. "No offense," I said, "but a homeowners association of what?" She smiled. Tight. Polished. The kind of smile you practice. "We have 12 properties in the development. My husband and I relocated from San Jose. He's in tech. We brought some structure out here. Structure. To farmland older than her grandparents." She pulled out a thick binder and slapped it against her palm. "This land has always been under our association. The previous owner agreed to monthly dues." I blinked. "Ma'am, this land's been corn and cattle since the 60s. She flipped through pages fast. Covenants. Restrictions. Agreements. Paper everywhere. "You currently owe $15,000 in back dues, plus $750 monthly." I laughed. Out loud. "You want HOA fees on empty prairie?" Her smile stiffened. "These documents are legally binding. If you refuse to comply, we'll place liens. Contact zoning. Make development impossible. Something shifted in her eyes. Not confusion. Calculation. She handed me printed emails from the previous owner. The dates looked off. Fonts didn't match. One was timestamped 3:12 a.m. Who sends legal agreements at 3:12 in the morning? Were these filed? I asked. With the county, she said too quickly. You can look them up. Then she turned and walked away, heels clicking like she'd already won. I stood there holding fake paperwork while the wind rolled through the grass. A few cows stared at me like, "You all right, buddy?" That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I was scared, because I was furious. Who walks onto someone else's land and demands 15 grand like it's normal? That wasn't neighbor behavior. That was predator behavior. I called my dad. He listened without interrupting, then finally said, "Son, go to the courthouse before you pay anybody a dime." Thursday morning, I drove to the Raven Creek Courthouse. Old brick building, the kind that smells like dust, paper, and time that doesn't care about you. The clerk, Mrs. Helen Carter, peered at me over her glasses and said, "You're here about Silver Pines, aren't you?" I froze. "How did you know?" She let out a tired sigh. "You're the fourth one this month." Fourth. She spread documents across the counter. My deed. Clean. Agricultural exemption going back to 1965. Original survey. No HOA. Not even a hint of one. Then she slid another paper forward. A consent form. My name typed neatly. My signature at the bottom. Except it looked like a drunk chicken had wandered through wet ink. "That's fake," I said. "I know," she replied. "That's why I never filed it. Miss Langford brought it in last week." My stomach dropped. She'd already tried to take my land. I walked out of that courthouse knowing one thing. This wasn't about dues. This was about control. And she thought I was easy. I drove home gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white, heart slamming like I just missed getting hit by a truck. Because that's exactly what it felt like. Someone had tried to erase me. Not with a gun, not with fists, with paper, fake ink, fake confidence, fake authority. If Mrs. Carter hadn't been paying attention, I could have lost 200 acres without ever knowing how. That night, sleep didn't come easy. I kept replaying Victoria's smile in my head. That calm, measured look people get when they think they're smarter than you, when they believe you're already beaten. Friday morning, I put up no trespassing signs along the east boundary, right where her land met mine. Metal posts, deep holes, hammers striking steel, echoing across the field like a warning bell. I wanted her to hear it. I wanted her to know I wasn't rolling over. By noon, my phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Monroe, this is Amanda with Silver Pines Property Management. Our records show you have outstanding assessments totaling $17,400. Property management. That was new. Where are you located?" I asked. Suite 204, Northview Business Plaza. I Googled it while she kept talking. UPS store. Mailbox rental. "Ma'am," I said, "that's a shipping store." Long pause. "You still need to pay," she snapped, then hung up. Over the next week, it turned into a flood. Letters, emails, voicemails, each one more aggressive than the last. Threats of liens, lawsuits, zoning complaints. Then came the social stuff. Someone posted on Nextdoor about a dangerous outsider buying land and ignoring community standards. Guess who shared it? Victoria. Then her husband, Ryan, started driving past my place in a black Tesla Model X, slow. Windows down. Phone out. Every evening at sunset, like clockwork. One night, he parked across from my driveway and stared at me for 20 minutes while I drank a beer on my porch. Didn't wave. Didn't speak. Just watched. That's when I called Sheriff Palmer. He showed up the next morning, boots dusty, hat pulled low. I laid everything out. The papers, the calls, the forge form. He shook his head. "You're not the first." "What do you mean?" 3 families paid them. One old rancher handed over 8 grand before his kid stopped it. 8 grand. Gone. For nothing. That's when it stopped being just my problem. It became everybody's. A few days later, another bill showed up, this one tucked under my windshield wiper. Not mailed, just slapped there. Silver Pine Services, LLC. $1,965 monthly. Landscaping. Security. Road maintenance. I laughed out loud. My road hadn't been touched since Reagan was president. I called the number. Silver Pine Services. A guy said, "This is Tyler. What exactly am I paying for?" I asked, "High-impact agricultural usage." He replied, like he was reading from a cue card. "Buddy," I said, "there's nothing here but grass and deer." "The assessment stands." "Where are you located?" Phoenix. Phoenix. They were billing Nebraska farmland from Arizona. That night, I started digging. Business records. LLC filings. Better Business Bureau complaints. My blood went cold. 5 complaints. 3 states. Same story every time. Fake HOAs. Fake fees. Harassment. One family in Colorado paid $12,000. Another in Arizona paid for 2 years straight. This wasn't sloppy. It was organized. They were professionals. Then it got personal. One afternoon, Victoria showed up walking her German shepherd along my fence. No leash. The dog wandered straight into my test plots, flattened 3 rows of heirloom corn. "Ma'am," I yelled, "your dog's on my property." She smiled. "Oh, is he?" Didn't move. The dog lifted a leg and peed on my fence post. I pulled out my phone. She snapped, "Are you filming me?" "I'm documenting trespassing," I said. Her face hardened. Ryan stepped closer, puffed up, then stopped when he realized I wasn't backing down. They left, but the message was clear. We're not done. A week later, she filed a police report, claimed I threatened her with farm tools. Deputy Palmer showed me the video. Carefully edited, cropped just right. Angle made me look like a horror movie villain, pitchfork in hand, advancing, except I wasn't. I was moving hay 30 feet away. My trail cam saved me. Full footage. No cuts. No drama. Just me working. Her creeping closer with a phone. False report. Felony level lie. Still, I was under investigation. Then one morning, a community committee showed up at my gate. Clipboards out. Cameras rolling. They started photographing everything. My truck. The fuel tank. The barn. Me. Saying they were documenting unsafe conditions. One woman pointed at me and said, "You're trespassing." I replied calmly. They backed up, but kept shooting from the road. Later, I ran the plates. 3 belonged to Silver Pines members. They weren't inspecting. They were building witnesses, building a case, trying to wreck my reputation. My phone blew up that week. Fake reporters, fake lawyers, fake investigators, all asking about aggressive behavior. That's when I called Sarah Whitman, an agricultural rights attorney. Reynolds recommended. She listened for a full hour without interrupting, then said, "They're flipping the narrative. Classic intimidation reversal. Is it legal?" I asked. The attempt is. The coordination isn't. She took my case pro bono. Said she'd been waiting for something like this. 3 days later, she called me. "Caleb." I subpoenaed their accounts. "Okay." 48,000 collected. 0 expenses. All personal. Then she dropped the bomb. They fled California 18 months ago, pending fraud investigation. Everything clicked. They didn't move here for peace. They moved here for prey. That night, standing on my porch with coyotes howling in the distance, I realized something. They weren't going to stop. Not unless someone stopped them. And apparently that someone was me. At our next meeting, Sarah leaned back in her chair and said, "We don't just beat them. We bury them." "How?" "We let them hang themselves." That was the plan. Set bait. Make them think they were winning. Let them commit real crimes on camera with federal eyes watching. And just like that, a quiet diesel mechanic who only wanted to grow crops was preparing for war. Once she said those words, everything shifted. Until then, I'd been reacting, putting out fires, defending myself, barely staying afloat. Now we were building something. Quietly, carefully, like assembling an engine where one loose bolt could destroy everything. Step 1. Make them think I was desperate, tired, close to caving. I stopped returning some calls. Let a couple bills accidentally go unpaid. Let rumors drift that I was struggling to secure financing. Then I planted the seed. Literally. One morning at Miller's Hardware, buying fence posts, I said a little too loudly to cashier, "Yeah, state inspection next week. If it passes, I might qualify for that $50,000 sustainability grant." I didn't look around. I didn't need to. Victoria shopped there every Tuesday. By Thursday, she called. Her voice had changed. Softer. "Caleb, maybe we got off on the wrong foot." Wrong foot, after months of harassment. "I'm listening." I said, "We could settle everything. 15,000. Clean slate. No inspections. No issues." Settlement meant panic. I told her I'd think about it. Next came surveillance. Sarah brought in Miguel Torres, former state trooper turned private investigator. He installed professional-grade cameras, certified, court-proof, hidden in fence posts, barn beams, tool sheds. 5 angles. Audio 2. "This isn't about catching them," Miguel said. "It's about convicting them." Then we looped in Agent Laura Kim from the FBI's Rural Fraud Unit. Calm voice. Sharp eyes. "No nonsense. Give us one clean bribery attempt," she said, "and they're done." We staged the inspection. Retired Agriculture Officer Ben Holloway played the inspector. Real badge, real truck, real paperwork. He knew every regulation by heart. We rehearsed twice. Every word, every movement. Friday morning, 9 a.m. I barely slept. Coffee tasted like metal. My hands shook tying my boots. At 8:45, 3 rental cars pulled up near my fence. Victoria, Ryan, 2 men I didn't recognize, all holding folders, cameras, fake authority. At exactly 9, Ben rolled in. County logo, clipboard, calm, started testing soil. Within 5 minutes, Victoria stormed over. "You can't be here," she snapped. "This property is under HOA jurisdiction." Ben didn't look up. "Ma'am, I'm conducting a state evaluation." Ryan stepped closer. "We didn't approve this." That sentence alone was federal obstruction, on tape. Victoria pulled Ben aside, thinking no one could hear. The cameras heard everything. "There's 8,000 cash," she whispered. "Find the violations." Ben played dumb. "Are you offering me money?" "Just be thorough," she said. Ryan walked up with an envelope. 10 grand. Consulting fee. Ben raised his voice. "Sir, that's bribery." That's when their hired guys realized they were standing in quicksand. One started filming. "This ain't what we signed up for," he said. Victoria panicked, pulled out documents. Environmental reports, she claimed. Ben glanced once. "These inspectors are dead," he said calmly. Silence. Bird stopped. Wind stopped. Everything stopped. Then she threatened him. "We know where you live." That was it. Agent Kim's voice crackled through Ben's earpiece. "Move in." Sheriff's cars came from 3 directions. Unmarked SUVs. Blue lights. Badges everywhere. Victoria froze. Ryan ran. Made it 15 yards before Deputy Palmer tackled him into my freshly tilled soil. Poetry. Handcuffs clicked. Metallic. Final. Agent Kim read the charges. Wire fraud. Mail fraud. Conspiracy. Bribery. Forgery. Obstruction. Threats. I stood there feeling empty. Not triumphant. Not angry. Just relieved. Neighbors gathered. Some clapped. Some cried. Mrs. Jenkins hugged me and said, "Thank you for not letting them win." News vans showed up. Microphones. Questions. I said one thing. Rural people aren't stupid. We're patient. That night, I slept 12 hours straight. 6 months later, my corn stood taller than my truck. Victoria and Ryan got 4 years. Restitution ordered. Assets seized. Every victim repaid. Leftover funds fixed roads and bought shared equipment. No fake committees. No fake fees. Just real community. Sarah's case helped pass new protections. Other states followed. Scammers started getting nervous. I started getting calls. farmers, ranchers, asking what to do. I tell them the same thing. Check records. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to push back. Sometimes I walk the boundary where she first stood. No hills now. Just wind, grass, meadowlarks. Last month, a developer called. Big offer. Cash. I said no. He said, everything has a price. I said, not this, because this land isn't just dirt. It's proof that regular people can win, that bullies with paperwork aren't invincible, that communities still matter. So here's my question for you. If someone showed up tomorrow claiming authority over what you own, would you fight? Or would you pay just to make it stop? Was I right to go all the way? Or did I take it too far? Let me know in the comments. I read everyone. And if this story helped you see something differently, share it with someone who might need it. Because you never know who's about to get tested and how ready they really are